Nintendo has a multi-generational plan for its consoles, and we're looking at it today here on A Cow's Opinion. We'll bring you the latest and greatest news in video games. Today we're on greatest. Most of this has been like firings, games failing, stupidity in the front office. But you know what? Nintendo is like Xbox, Sony, these AAA studios. They're those girls that slap you around, break your heart, stand you up. Nintendo is the girl next door who just wants to give you a hug and play video games, and you love her, and you should just be with her, okay? That's the end of the 12-episode Netflix arc on the show I just created. Just be with Nintendo. Because Nintendo is announced that they are going to continue to support the Switch after the Switch 2's launch, as long as there's demand. And this is posted by Andy Robertson here at Video Games Chronicle. So President Shuntaro Furukawa has said that they will keep supporting the Switch because its latest earnings results on Tuesday confirmed that sales of the original Switch declined by 30% year-on-year for the 9 months ending in December. Now, that does not surprise anyone because people who would want a Switch are saying, you know, the Switch 2 is probably coming out soon. Maybe I'll just buy that. But a few weeks after this, the company finally announced the Switch 2. They're going to reveal it in April when they're in their next fiscal year. We've got a couple more months to wait before that. However, Furukawa said in an earnings call, as per Sankey, that he does not believe that the Switch 2 announcement will have a significant impact on the current sales of the Switch, and that the company is going to continue to support Switch beyond Switch 2 as long as there is demand. He also spoke about plans to prevent those resellers and that the price will consider the affordability customers expect from Nintendo. And this doesn't surprise me. Nintendo does not like to get the latest and greatest technology. They like the tried and true proven. As well as, remember, they're the only guys who actually make money off their hardware. Everybody else historically has like crammed as much tech into their box as they can. And then they lose $50 to $100 or more, depending on the generation, the specifications, how new the tech is. Nintendo's always been like, no, we're going to give you something. It's solid. It works. It's not new and unproven. And by the way, we're going to put some money in our pocket from it, which is why they have been around for so long as a company. They just know how to, make good stuff overall. Now, the Switch is now 8 years old, and although the hardware is declining, the demand is still super high. I mean, even with a 30% decline year over year, with people who already having a Switch or just waiting on Switch 2, people are buying a hell of a lot of Switches. They sold over 4.8 million units over the holiday season, which was a total of 9.5 since April 1st of last year, and well over 150 life to date. That's a lot of Switches. The Switch needs to clear 154 million to beat the Nintendo DS and 160 million to beat the PS2 to become the best-selling console in all time. And if they continue to support it for a couple of years, 10 million more Switches is not necessarily out of the question. The PS2, not only was it a huge jump in graphics, not only was it a lot of really great games, but the PS2 was also a really affordable DVD player. That's kind of Sony's bag. I personally got a PS3, not necessarily because, I wanted to play some games on it too. Yeah, it was also the cheapest Blu-ray player on the market. Like, oh, I can have this, and I can play video games, and by the way, I want to watch Blu-rays, and this is the cheapest one they got. Switch 2 is also going to be backwards compatible with original software, Nintendo confirmed, which an analyst have speculated will boost the new console's sales. Because, yeah, you have the entire Switch library ready at launch. That is the biggest launch, even with the new games that they will release in the first, alongside console and in the first couple months to encourage purchases. That's the biggest launch library you will have because consoles aren't always that backwards compatible friendly. Now, Dr. Serkin Toto, who is CEO of Tokyo-based games industry consultancy Katon Games, says that the Switch 2 cannot come soon enough and questioned what games the company would use to fill the gap. Now, currently, they have only Xenoblade Remaster for March, Xenoblade Chronicle X, and Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, and Pokemon Legend Z-A pegged for a broad release window this year. It is now much clearer how Nintendo overestimated the life that is still left in the Switch at the start of the fiscal year, Toto said. Nintendo now revised the hardware sales forecast 2 times. I expect them to miss even this lowered forecast. I'm not sure why they thought they would sell 14 million units this fiscal year with a very dry software slate. Switch 2 cannot come soon enough. I hope for them it is not scheduled for fall like not too few people believe. It's probably scheduled for fall. I'm pretty sure. 14 million is a lot, but even a fraction of that at 10 will get you on the PS2's level. And look, I think that they're just counting on a lot of independent games are being purchased, or not on Xbox, not on PlayStation, but being purchased on Steam and the Switch, because you can have a Steam Deck or a Switch, you can take it anywhere you want. So that's why I think they're doing it. And yeah, no, this is pretty much what we expected. Here's, I think this is, well, that looks like a Switch, actually. Well, I don't know if that's supposed to be a Switch or a Switch 2. It looks very similar. But, also on Video Games Chronicle, and also by Andy Robson, Nintendo's preparations for Switch 2 resellers, because, this is important, they're going to put measures in place to prevent scalpers. Now, recently we got to all laugh at scalpers because they bought the PS5 Pros, and it turns out there was not nearly enough demand on the PS5 Pro for people to... I don't understand why Sony or Xbox like to release these so-called Pro or enhanced versions of their consoles, because, I mean, Nintendo does it with the OLED, but that's like actually a much improved screen. You see side-by-side stuff of Sony games, and yeah, some Sony games that are specifically made for the Pro look better. Sometimes a little, sometimes a lot. But most games don't really have that much of a difference, and it's not really worth the price of an even more expensive console. And it's just weird. But speaking to the Japanese press since the announcement on Tuesday, Furukawa also was asked how Nintendo plans to ensure a smooth launch for the console, especially with the original history of stock shortages, which, you know, they couldn't keep it on the shelves, and people reselling. And he has said that Nintendo has made preparations on its past experience and plan to prepare enough console inventory to meet demand. As quoted, "We will take all possible measures based on the experience we have accumulated to date regarding scalpers and the like. We are making preparations, and again, consider the affordability customers expect. Nintendo does not want to drive you into the poorhouse." That's definitely a Switch 2. I do like how there are subtle changes to, like, the docking station and to the controller and the Joy-Cons, so that you will freaking know at a glance. Now, they had originally planned to launch it in late 2024, but priority was given to ensure the initial inventory of the successor console and a lineup of software titles at the time of launch to avoid widespread reselling. Yeah, if you sell tons of them, you don't need to worry about that. Market research firm Circana predicted that the Switch 2 would sell 4 million units alone this year, if released in the first half of the year, accounting for approximately a third of all video game consoles sold this year. Another research firm, DFC Intelligence, says that Switch 2 sales will exceed 80 million units by the end of 2028, which is more than the original Switch managed its first 3 years, which is 55.77 million. And Tokyo securities analyst Yasuda Hideki told the Nikkei that Nikkei is like a stock exchange thing that they have. He expects Switch 2 sales to reach 6 million in the first 3 months, so even better than 4 million in 2025. They also confirmed on Tuesday the Switch sold, okay, here's the other stuff, and that they will continue. So yeah, just references back. Okay, want to make sure I got all the information because, guys, the Cal's opinion is that I'm looking forward to a Switch 2. I'm going to be walking into a GameStop for the first time in a long time to reserve a console, and hopefully those guys do not... I haven't used GameStop for anything. I've been buying digitally, or if I want a physical edition or special edition, I've been getting off of Amazon, because the Cal has a quick story for you. The Cal wanted to buy the Fire Emblem Fate 2-in-1. Remember, you could side with not Japan or you could side with not Europe. And they oversold the number of editions they had where you would have both of them. And the guy pressured me into just buying the physical copies of both individual things. So it's the same price, dude. The Problem is that you can't really carry your save data from one to the other, and it really made me mad because he didn't tell me that until after I got home and was playing it for about 10 hours. So yeah, I'm going to, hopefully GameStop will not screw me. Stay tuned to the channel to see if the cow gets screwed by GameStop again. It'll be fun. Not so much for me if it happens, but you guys will get some content out of it. And let me know in the comments, are you excited for Switch 2? Because I have got, the whole reason why I got my little device that lets me capture on consoles is mainly because I wanted to Switch 2, and we played Kirby. I thought that really went well. We played Mario vs. Donkey Kong. We've played a couple of PlayStation 5 games with the channel, and I just like having the option. I'm assuming that the ports and everything are not going to be significantly different, so the same technology should just carries the picture, and I've got it hooked up through my OBS. And you don't have to, which is good because then the OBS doesn't like shake or anything. I think the console dock, I get so excited I can stomp my feet a little and it was shaking, which would cause the video to skip, and I would have to go back and re-record stuff, and I didn't like doing that because it sounded fake to me when I had to remember, well, what did you say, and just fake the surprise again. But no, I'm really looking forward to Switch 2, and if you are too, you should be happy because we're getting information in just 2 months. And you know what else you can do with that information? That's a terrible transition, but you can still play more games because games are awesome. The Switch 2 has huge expectations, and you deserve awesome. I'll see you next time. I wonder what games they're going to. I'm assuming a Mario game, maybe a Star Fox game, maybe who knows. I'm just excited. I can't hide it.